All right, we rolling, baby. What's up, everybody? This is the Marc Haize Show. Got my boy EJ in the building,
sir.
my boy
Yes,
JP.
sir.
Man, how you feeling this week?
Hey, it's been a week.
It's been a week, man. We all about building better people, making people better.
Well, before we go too far, this week was Mark's birthday.
Oh, shit.
So we got a whole cake. All right, we're going to sing. All right, we're going to straight up sing.
Yeah,
all
I
right?
can't just sit here and act like this cake is not on fire
Okay.
in front of me.
He turned 30 this week. The big 3-0.
Big 3-0.
Bow. And it started out with a bang.
Started off with a bang.
Explosion.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was exciting.
Anyway, let's get to the happy birthday song. Traditional. Are you ready?
Happy birthday to me.
Okay.
Nah.
All right, let's reel it in. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
Aw, shit.
Happy birthday, dear Marky.
Stop it. Stop. Don't ever do that again. Like every so people calling me all week like, hey man, you getting old. Well, it's mostly my family that calls me. Families and friends. They're all like, you're getting old. I don't really feel any different, but I just keep hearing it every week, man. I guess I should feel old. I should feel wiser. I do feel more wise. I feel more. More intelligence. I say I feel more focused. I feel like my goals are more precise. In my 20s, it was kind of all over the place. I mean, even in my 30s, I'm not gonna act like I have everything figured out, but I feel like I have a more precise vision of where I see myself going with my life. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited with my 30s hold. How you feel about going into your 30s? You're turning 30 pretty soon too.
I feel good.
Yeah, like people trying to make me feel some type of way about it.
Bro,
but
this one girl around me tells me I'm an old man.
I mean, you did show up wearing a suit. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I love wearing suits. I'm just fucking with you, but
I try to
look presentable. Be ready for your blessings.
Ready for the blessings.
Ready for your blessings.
Yeah, I'm ready for some blessings. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean?
Man, like, you was telling me some stories about your week about somebody getting shot in the head and all this crazy other. I don't want to say nonsense, but
it was wild. It was.
As far as blessings, like I wanted you to share this story about this man who survived death 3 times apparently.
Okay, so the backstory that maybe I'm going to go a little bit, 20, 30 minutes prior, me and this gentleman, we got into, this while I was Uber driving, we got into a huge disagreement about the mask, about COVID, yada, yada, yada. His wife worked in healthcare, and I was saying we're not speaking enough about God because it's the Spirit of God that'll save your life. It's your time, it's your time,
right.
No matter what you're going to do about it.
Right.
And he was basically...
I should blow out these candles.
You should.
Let's
do that.
All right, feeling good. What's up? Got a dead battery? Already?
I was basically saying, we're not speaking enough about faith. That have faith in a higher realm that can save your life.
Right.
Whether that be through prayer, there's many things that kind of go along with that aspect of it. And anyway, we got into a big disagreement because a lot of times people, they want individuals to wear the mask. My thing is like, let people do what they want. Give them the freedom of choice. Educate them. And if they don't want to do it, that's on them. Hell, we allow people to go have a heart attack.
We allow people to go have a heart attack?
Yeah, like
I don't know if that's a proper comparison.
I know that's not, but what I'm saying is like we giving people the freedom of choice. It's America. You have the freedom
to eat crappy food and have heart attacks.
Like people, when I say that, people love it. Like especially old people.
Or we give people the right to have heart attacks.
They laugh at that.
They laugh because it just sounds absurd.
But it's true. Like you can go eat McDonald's. You can go eat. Hell, even Chick-fil-A. We can eat all these foods. That's why I started changing my diet.
But I think it's more of a situation where you're considerate of the people around you.
I grasp that concept.
It's like if you go ahead and gorge yourself in McDonald's and kill yourself, that's your own fault. But if you go out and don't wear a mask and you contract coronavirus and then you get somebody sick and their parents die, you played a part into that.
I grasp that concept, and I'm trying to convey how people think. You know what I mean? I'm meeting tons of people all the time. So like a lot, and again, in the middle of the night, a lot of people aren't doing this. And that's another thing.
A lot of people lack empathy. real empathy.
Well, when people drunk, like they don't care.
When people are drunk, I mean that's a whole different
It's-
story.
it's
You
out
didn't
the
add
window.
that in
You
the
know,
story.
like-
You just said late night, but now that you add that in the
Think
situation,
about it, like
when-
2:30, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning,
2:30,
5:30
you just trying to
morning.
get home or you trying to get some. Like it's
People want to have sex.
People
okay?
ain't really
Nothing
concerned.
has changed from the beginning of
like
the virus
mask
situation
and
to
no
now.
mask. All you worry about. I mean, people ain't even wearing condoms at that time, so
Wild.
they're not even worried about masks.
Like
they're eating random ass and
literally,
shit.
my best friend was saying that he met this, they do the dating apps. He's like, yeah, I met this ICU nurse and doesn't even know this guy. And she's like, yeah, she about to come over and get this bust down. And I'm like, yo, this is an ICU nurse. Shouldn't she be a little bit more concerned about this virus situation? He's like, yo, people just want to have sex.
People want some.
It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
it's lonely out here. In
so
these
my
streets.
thing is like, hey, we need a higher power. Let's start talking about that as well. Let's talk about health. Let's talk about
Right.
exercise.
I agree with that.
Like it's not like I disagree with him. It was like, well, let's look at this factor as well. Because there's a lot of people out here that just like whatever. And so, anyways, and fast forward maybe 20, 30 minutes later, I pick up this gentleman, and this is the greatest story like I said I've ever heard in my life. He gets in the car.
I wanted to get into this.
He
this,
gets
this
into the
is
car. I
intriguing
can't
for
make this
sure.
up. He gets into the car, and even how that happened, it was meant to be because I'd canceled this other ride because the chick was taking forever. I'm like, yo, I'm not waiting for this. Okay, like I give people a lot of leeway. Like,
all right,
7.
get into the story.
All right, so he gets in the car. We're going downtown. All right, and he had to do a drug test.
Right.
And I was like, well, you're going to pass? He's like, yeah, I stopped doing drugs, alcohol, yada, yada, yada. I was like, man, let's clap for God. We're clapping for God.
We're clapping. Y'all having a full on applause.
And so I already like how this car ride is going, okay? Because I'm like, thank goodness there's someone here that has faith in God. Because
Okay.
I meet so many people that just like whatever about it.
I mean, I feel like, like I said before, we live in a conservative state. There's a lot of religion that governs the state in itself.
You would not believe how many
people have been distant from it, but I would say, like most of our laws and everything is based off of religion.
I can understand that. And on the back end though, there's truth to what you're saying. I definitely agree with that.
Right.
And then when you're meeting so many people that aren't talking about now, granted, you know me a long time. You've seen the transformation from when I just didn't really care to now just like a huge piece of my life. And so, we're clapping for God, and he's like, well, I've had a very blessed life. I'm like, oh, well, tell me more. He's like,
Is this
well,
the same dude who said he wanted to shoot out the window?
No, this is another story. Like, if we want to
Oh,
tell that
man.
story, I could tell that story too.
I thought that's the one we was going to tell.
No,
But-
I'll tell that story. That guy was wild.
okay, no,
Okay.
I just want to hear this one real quick, man.
So
Let's see where we're going.
So this gentleman, basically, he explains to me what had happened. And he opened up. He was like, when I was 13, 14 years old, I was hanging around the wrong crowd. And then next thing you know, we're out going to commit some form of crime. And he was the getaway driver because he was the only one at that time frame that knew how to drive. And so...
Wait, what? He was 13?
13, 14, somewhere on that
Okay.
age. And
Got his ass beat.
more than an ass beat. So apparently he got shot in the head,
Shot in the head.
shot in the stomach,
Shot in the stomach.
stabbed a few times.
God damn.
And then then the people that did all this to him, they dragged his body to the side of the road.
Oh, Lord.
And they left him there all night.
Why were they considerate enough to drag him to the side of the road? Why didn't they just leave him in
I
the
didn't
road?
ask those questions. I was already, my mind
That was the kind of question I would have asked.
I mean, my mind was already boggled. Like, I was like, wait,
Like, damn,
what?
bro, you
like,
survived.
What? You know what I mean? And basically, he said he was there all night and he lost pints of blood. Like, the dude died. And basically, in the morning time, someone had seen him. They called an ambulance. They brought him to the hospital. He was in a coma for months. For months. And 10 years prior, his father passed away. So during this whole time frame, I was asking more questions like, well, what did you see? What about your mom? Like, what was going on? And he said that his mom was coming to the hospital often, probably every single day, basically, and praying like, please.
So what kept him going? Like, what kept him alive? What would he attribute his?
Well, I'm
staying-
about to give both sides of the story.
Yeah.
And so his mom was praying, please God, please don't,
These stories
like,
get kind of winded. That's why I was
my
trying.
bad, yo.
I'm trying to.
I like
trying
that.
to speed it up.
So praying, please God, please don't, don't let my child pass. Like he's, like please, X, Y, because the machines were keeping him going.
Yeah, that's how comas work.
And so the doctor came in and after a few months said, look, ma'am, it's over. Your son is
So
dead.
he was on life support for a few months.
Months.
Did he happen to mention what his doctor bill was?
I don't know.
Just curious. I don't know.
I
We'll
didn't
go.
ask these questions. Like I didn't,
That's
I didn't,
ridiculous.
I didn't care about that point. Like I cared about the miracle that happened to
Okay.
this gentleman.
So is he in the church? Like, has he attributed this to
Well,
God or
yeah,
faith?
he definitely did. And so basically what happened was that the doctor said we're pulling the plug. The mom
Mm-hmm.
was distraught,
Mm-hmm.
and as any, I'm assuming, mother would be, or father, when their child is like, well,
Yes.
and the doctor has
Yes.
to say, I'm pulling the plug.
Right.
Which we have to, at the end of the day, we aren't the ones who can create and that aspect of life.
Mm-hmm.
So
On with the story.
well, the doctor pulled the plug,
Doctor pulled the plug.
and then this is when he woke up.
Okay.
And then
He woke up right when the plug
right
was
when the
pulled.
plug was pulled.
Wow.
And then the doctor said, "Ma'am, don't be startled. This is just a nervous reaction. The nerves do this."
Makes sense.
And so a few seconds later, the heart monitor started going. His heart started beating.
So his heart was not going at all for
No,
last.
not
So
at
he
all.
was technically dead.
He was dead.
So okay.
I'm trying to
That's
explain.
that-
Now,
that's a
I'm
whole nother question.
Now
I
again,
gotta
again, I'm giving you the story of inside the hospital room. I'll
Right.
get to his part. What was going on in his,
Okay.
because I asked those questions as well. And so the doctor looked at the mom, said, "Look, I know your son was wake up. Your son's not going to walk again." And then and she said, "No, I have faith that my child will walk again. I believe in God."
Right.
And so on her birthday, the son started walking again. So going back to the healthcare aspects, these people don't really know what the hell is going to really happen. They just speculate what they can and can't do. When it's your time, it's your time. Now, on the son's side, this is what happened on his side. He saw all white, and I was asked, "Do you remember anything like noisy out there?" He's like, "I remember my mother crying, and like hearing that aspect, and I remember tears coming out of my eyes as well at the same time." And he said, "I saw all white, and next thing you know, my father appeared because his dad already passed away."
Oh, so he saw him in his vision.
Boom. And he said he
Wow.
couldn't see his body except, he could see his father. So
Right.
he was running towards his father. And he was Hispanic, so he was like, "Papi, papi, papi." And basically when he got to an inch hair away from him, his father looked him in the eyes and said, "Son, it's not your time yet." And at that same moment, that's when he woke up. And on the other end, that's when the doctor pulled the plug. And so I asked deeper questions from him. I said, "Wow, this is fascinating," because I had cracked that joke. I said, "Man, you must have a huge angel up there really looking over you." That's when he brought in the story about the father aspect, and he said everyone else didn't believe, and the point that he came back to life was because that God knew that his mother was losing faith in God. So God brought him back to life to restore that faith, so when she passes away, she can meet her husband again.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Most beautiful story I've ever heard.
It's beautiful. Like, I want you to bring up this story because I just wanted to talk more about just having undying faith. I'm going into my 30s, and people ask me, how you feel about it, what you gonna do. It's just like I feel like that I just have undying faith in my abilities and the things I want to do in life, and that story right there just shows you that like faith is real. And a lot of people have, I'd say, strayed away from it, like you said earlier. And me myself, I personally had to go through a personal journey to get back into my faith as well. I'm not super religious though. No, I do believe there's a God and there's a universe and there's something like bigger than me, but I'm okay with not knowing all the answers. But I do see stories like this, like the miracles that happen, and I don't take it for granted. I do believe that there is something bigger than us that has something destined for us. Like, do you believe that there's something bigger destined for you from something beyond us? Like, I know you're super religious.
Yeah, I definitely we people don't know this. We started praying before the show.
Right.
And the reason why I started doing that because I knew like to get it to where we want to go, we're going to need a higher power to really step in and roll this in another direction. Because I would love, as all of us would, to see this change our own family trajectory, to see this to be so large that impacts. I personally would love to see this, and I feel like it can happen to be the biggest show that United States has ever produced.
Okay. All right, man. I love it. I love the ambition. I feel the same way as well. I feel like you just with faith with hard work as well. There's a lot of people who have undying faith, but they don't have the actual work ethic to make things happen. So it has to go as hand in hand. Like the I can't. I was gonna say homeboy. I feel
Frank.
like that's
His
kind of
name was-
insensitive
nah, his name was
after a
Frank.
whole.
Frank.
Your friend Frank, who
That was
just
his
went
name.
through his whole journey. Like he had to have there had to be a belief in there. There had to be a belief that he was gonna come back, and also his mom believed. Is that energy that's around him, and that will keep us going forward. And I truly believe that as well. It's it's real out here, man. Like I've had miracles happen to me, you know, damn near every day, even on my birthday. On my birthday.
I mean, I don't know. That's a miracle. I think that's
But
just,
yeah,
you
it's a technicality.
it's it's a blessing.
It's a blessing. Yeah, man. It's like I said on the episode before. I've had my goals happen, and I haven't. It didn't happen in a way that I expected it to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it just happened. I prayed for it. I worked towards it, and it happened in a very miraculous way.
Because
you
to
know?
me, like, there's power in prayer. Going back to this woman that I've been seeing, like, I prayed for a woman that literally looks just like her, that has all the same qualities as this woman. And the funny
Look at
thing,
that.
the funny thing about it was like how we even met was just abstract and hilarious in itself. On the back end though, like I started going to Joel Osteen's church, Lakewood,
Right.
and that's when a lot more blessings started coming in. And on the back end, even listen to people like T.D. Jakes, because you can see like what are these guys doing that are so impactful to the world.
Moving hearts, really.
And they move my heart.
They
I'm in
moving
there
hearts.
crying.
You know who else is moving hearts?
Who's that?
That boy Joe Jackson. You can't get what you want.
Oh, I listen.
Till you want
Till
what
you know
you
what
want.
Dude, I hear that. That's in my
You
Uber
can't get
playlist.
what you want. Yeah,
Till
I was
you
playing
know
that.
that
Honestly,
part.
I honestly just found out this week that he said, "Till you know what you want. You can't get what you want till you know what you want." So
We found that out the day
no,
we heard it. I
no,
told you
when
that.
but
I
I,
told you
didn't
the
know
lyrics.
that's what he's really.
I
didn't
did.
honestly. I didn't pay much attention. I thought he just kept saying like, "You can't get what you want. You can't
No,
get what you
you
want."
started singing the right lyrics. I told
Oh,
you the lyrics.
I don't even
It's all
remember.
good.
But anyway, it hit me this week, and it just tells me that the song is hilarious. It's actually a really good song, but it has a deep truth to it that you have to be specific in your goals and the things that you want in life and visualize it, and you'll get there. And also have a plan. I say be specific with your plan, but it's always God's plan. As they say, like it'll go one way and then it just goes left, but you end up getting there anyway. Like I said earlier, but yeah, you just gotta go know what you want and get it. Like in this situation, my boy Frank, he wanted to live.
I don't know if he his
You don't
mom
think he wanted
wanted
to?
him to
His
live.
mom wanted him to live.
His mom wanted him to live. That was where, because I'd asked deeper question, and I came to the conclusion, he confirmed it, that she was the one that was losing faith in God.
She was losing faith.
She
in
was
God.
losing faith in God. And that's why God brought him back to life to restore that faith. And this happens, all the time. Even going to the story about the dude who was trying to shoot out the window, like there was a huge situation that happened in that aspect. And I was cracking a bunch of jokes, and we went to Whataburger, yada, yada, yada. And basically, more of the story, he said, you know what? Because he was going to commit a horrendous crime. And he said,
Do you believe he was really gonna do that, or was he
Yeah,
doing
he
it?
had it in
He's
him.
talking about.
He had it in him. I met people that have done murder.
Oh, because you meet people who talk just for attention. Some people just need attention.
Here's the thing. Like, I would say sober, would he have done it? Probably not. With the amount of alcohol that was induced within his mind and body at that moment in time, it was high potential.
High
Because
potential.
he didn't care about going to jail. And so anyone who doesn't care about going to jail, you're able to commit any crime.
Well, does he have a car?
No.
He doesn't have a car. Okay, I think it'd be ironic, right? If he said he don't care about going to jail, but he took an Uber. Like,
Well, going back to his story, whenever I remember we were at Whataburger, and
Right.
we were doing all these, we were singing karaoke. It's hilarious because now Apple, God bless them, you can see the lyrics and you sing along to the songs now. Okay, and so like I've learned, he was trying to play all this aggressive music, so I've learned that aggressive music brings aggressive behavior.
I feel that.
And so with that, I'm trying to put on country songs about love, songs about God.
You trying to get that man crying?
Well, I'm trying to like move the mood, the ego to a different aspect.
Did you play him that Joe Jackson?
Nah, that didn't play. Then he started playing, bro. What really was hilarious, he started playing The Weeknd, and he was singing every single damn word. And like he
Oh
knew
yeah, it
the
was
song.
The Weeknd.
He loved it. He was like singing up and down. And then I put on a song about, God, and he looked at me and said, I'm gonna let, paraphrase, like, I'm gonna allow these people the night, I'm gonna let them live, somewhere around that lines.
Really?
And sum it up, he basically kind of said, like, God brings people together for a certain reason. And at that moment, I knew whenever we first started kind of, because I was with this guy for hours,
Right.
that it was going in that direction. I was going to be his therapist that night and try to and try to like try to put plant that seed of Jesus in his life, because he was a
Right.
believer. He definitely said that. So it's a big thing for me to have a faith in a higher realm. Me personally, follow Jesus Christ, and I've seen what that spirit has done in my own life. And
Yeah, you've been in a completely different headspace, a better headspace, I'd say.
yeah, today was very rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, my ego was very hurt. It was a situation that happened You probably know, like my car got flooded out about a year and a half ago
Right.
during Tropical Storm Imelda, and I got sold this Gap insurance from the dealership, Demontron Kia. I'm gonna be very
Did
specific
they
here.
not honor your gap
Oh,
insurance?
well, don't worry. It was voided day one because as an Uber driver, you're supposed to have commercial Gap insurance.
Oh shit.
So off the bat, it was voided. And I was like, whenever this happened, I'm thinking like, well, I got Gap insurance, gonna wipe away the loan. Who cares? And whenever the Gap insurance lady called my phone and said that, hey, this is not gonna work. We're not gonna cover anything because you don't have the proper Gap insurance. I was distraught,
It's
and
a bit disheartening.
it was very, and it was a deep wound that I'm still trying to overcome.
Hmm.
And it took me about a year and a half to really like get the courage to go see these people at this dealership. I was distraught
Hmm.
because my own family didn't even care. And I'm not gonna say I come from some poor family. It's very disheartening, like when your own parents just like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like y'all not even gonna
I
help.
mean, your parents look out for you a lot.
They look
though.
out for me on this situation. I was like, I needed some guidance. I didn't know what
I
to
mean,
do.
I mean, in the situation, I mean,
Some wisdom. I was
you
looking
was
for
dealt
some
the cards.
wisdom.
You was dealt the cards of a misfortunate event, and
Sure.
you just gotta, take accountability and swallow
Which I
it.
did. Which I definitely.
So what? Why did you go up to the place?
Because I wanted to let them know that, hey, like there was a mistake on your end as well. You sold me this Gap insurance, and I put trust in you that this was gonna happen. Now on the back end, I also said, look, it's also a lot of my fault
Right.
because I'm literate. I can read X, Y, Z, and it was very distasteful because when I talked to all these people, there were tears in their eye because they knew, bro. I cry all the time.
there was tears in their eyes,
Yes.
not in your eyes.
in their eyes.
You trying to tell me a car salesman gave a fuck about your feelings?
Yes, because let me tell you
I
why.
don't believe that.
Hold on, let me explain. Let me explain this why. Let me explain why. First, it was the women. First, I saw these two women, and
You were crying. Were you crying in front of these women?
I didn't cry. I was definitely like I was on the verge, and
You was on the
I pulled it
verge.
together.
Okay,
And they were
that's
like,
good.
"All right, well, go speak to this woman." So I spoke to that woman, and she was kind of distraught too because they know that they messed up. Even whenever they were doing the paperwork, they said you're a manager. I said I'm not a manager. I've been an Uber driver 5.5 years now. What are we talking about here? You know what I mean? Like y'all already making mistakes in this paperwork. And then the next day I went to go. She said, "Come back see the finance manager tomorrow." Finance manager ended up being the guy that sold me the Gap insurance.
Right.
And so I'm sitting down with him, and he was acting like he didn't know who I was. And
I
then
mean, he probably didn't.
he did know who I was because this is what I said, "Sir, you sold this to him." He's like, "Oh yeah, you the guy with the CDs, this and this, yada
Oh,
yada."
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
knew exactly who I was. And then as I started talking more, there was tears in his eyes, and he was kind of,
There was tears in his
Yes,
eyes.
and
Are you sure there was tears in their eyes
Bro,
out of like empathy or out of being upset with you?
No, it
being
was
in their
out
face?
of them knowing that they made a mistake.
Honestly, bro, I cannot see a car salesman
That's
giving
fine.
a fuck.
That's fine.
Like-
Well, my ego started coming out, so that's when it all went away because a lot of times people aren't humble enough to say, we made a mistake. Because if they would
but
have stepped
the
up,
thing is, they sold you Gap insurance. They did their job.
no, but I told them I was an Uber driver.
You told them when you was purchasing
Yes,
the
they
car.
knew this because I told him, I said, this is my second car I bought from y'all. And the
Mm-hmm.
first one had 200,000 miles. All y'all came out to look at this 2-year-old car. How the hell could this
So
have
did
200,000?
anything actually happen from this excursion?
Well,
or-
they said that they're going to, they had to bring it to like another department that was like, Demontron's a big company.
yeah.
So
It's
they
like,
had to bring
what-
it to someone that was in
Are
charge.
they doing in-house financing?
No, that was with a bank.
That's all.
My
okay.
finance was a bank.
So I'm thinking once they hand off the loan, that's between you and the bank
Well,
now.
going back to the situation, I was going up there to say, like, is there anything y'all can do to help me?
Help me.
That's I was asking for help, bro. Like I've been like whether people know I haven't talked about this ever.
Nah, I feel
like
you.
to barely anyone because I was so distraught for so long. Now I'm $15,000 in the hole,
Right.
because of this situation.
That's a lot of fucking
and it's
money.
like it's hurtful, to be in that aspect,
Yeah.
and you don't have the wisdom to know what to do, and the courage, as well to step up. And finally, the courage came. And when I was talking to this gentleman, he was like, well, we're going to ask the dealership, we're going to talk to the Gap Insurance. I said, Gap Insurance, this is a Demontron issue. This isn't Gap Insurance. Okay? Like, you the one that sold me this. And yeah, I pictured little girls. I was like, imagine your kids being screwed over like this. What are you going to do about it?
Right.
Like, and the reason why people don't want to admit that they're wrong, kind of going back to what you said about white people, the situation with black people. I'm going to admit this week I agreed to it because the woman I'm seeing, we had two big major situations, was her faith in Jesus Christ being,
Right.
Salvation. And she said, yes, I do. And on the back end, she asked me, do I believe that African-American people have really struggled because she's kind of in that realm. And I said, you know what?
She's kind of in there. Is she black?
No, I'm saying she's kind of in the realm of like activist, kind of aspect.
Okay.
Very, she goes to HBCU.
Like she's kind of in that realm.
Look,
Like, what does that
look,
mean?
my bad, bro. This is still a new concept, and I
Right.
humble myself. I said, you know what?
Right.
I remember Mark telling me a lot about this. You know what? You're right. This is true. Okay,
Okay.
so like it. And by me admitting it, it voids a lot of my other arguments that I presented. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta give people the
So,
you know,
it's power of
opportunity
the
to learn
vagina.
on their
All
own.
right, let's
Power of the vagina.
Okay.
Sometimes you need to be.
So-
Sometimes the information needs to be presented in different ways. You know?
So, anyways, like I told my mom today, I was very hurt, like, and I kind of when I was my father had a birthday this week. Today was his birthday dinner. I didn't want to go because
Your father's a Pisces.
yeah, he's 70.
Nice.
And I didn't want to kind of
70.
get very angry at the birthday dinner and seeing, my family. Now, a lot of this anger is directed at myself, and I'm
Right.
trying to pull this together. And I'm be honest with you, like I just needed someone to just tell me they love me. You know what I'm saying? Like I just
I was thinking that. I was thinking that. Like,
that's all I really
I
needed.
just going through this whole tangent. I was like, man, EJ had a lot to get off his chest.
Bro,
this
like,
week.
look, man, I needed some love this week.
Hey,
and
EJ, man, I love you, bro.
I appreciate that.
Hey, everything's gonna be all right. Keep your faith up. Everything's gonna work out. Just stay positive. It's all about perception at the end of the day. I know you're going through some things, and like you look at this hurdle is just that, a hurdle. You're gonna jump over it. You're gonna do great in life. $15,000 is nothing. I mean, it's easy to say it's nothing, but that's how you gotta think of it.
And one day it could all change.
It could all change in one day.
So I did call a lawyer, and they'll get back, soon. And because I want to at least see, like, is there anything we can kind of do, like
What you can do though, technically, what you can do, I mean, it's gonna hurt your credit, but you can do a settlement. I don't know if you can do it now, but you might have to wait till it goes into collections, or you could just pay a little bit, or you could always call the debtor and try to work something out. So I think that's what I advise to do, because 15,000 is a lot. Like, it's damn near, some people's student loans. I mean, it's not that much student loans, but I would definitely suggest that. But how has it been? All right, so we're gonna take a break, man. We're gonna take a little commercial break, man. My boy EJ had a lot to get off his chest. I'm glad he did. Next we're gonna talk about the Texas reopening and California following right after. You want to be a baller shot caller, or at least look like one at the club? Get you Cupid Zirconia. It looks like the real thing at a fraction of the price. Stay fly, save money. All right, we're back. So, man, I wanted to get into this whole Texas being open to 100%.
no mask
No mask. Of course,
to the businesses liking in the cities,
to the business discretion, of
and
course.
the city as well.
The city as well?
Mm-hmm.
Really? So, the individual. So, Houston technically can be like, oh, no, we still masking up.
Harris County will say no
Oh, really?
because the county judge she's not having that.
I mean,
Now Montgomery
this
County,
whole move just favors big business in the first place.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We're trying to make money. That's a politician's job to
That's
keep
positive,
the money
like,
running.
keep the money flowing.
Yeah,
But
like,
I don't understand why
they're
you're
not
making this
here for-
announcement like shit wasn't already running.
They're not
Yeah.
here for health.
They're not here. They're here for them big bucks.
Yeah, they want to. You got to keep the money going.
Right. So it's funny because Greg Abbott, right? Yeah,
Well, I
Greg-
just call him Governor Abbott, so I'm
Yeah,
not
Greg.
sure. his first name.
Yeah, Abbott. Greg. Greg. He still advises that we wear masks. So he knows he's completely against his whole ruling, but he knows that it favors the big business.
Well, he's giving people freedom of choice,
giving people
which
freedom.
to me,
I mean, he's still technically not giving the people freedom of choice. Like, you just told me that the cities can still choose, and apparently the stores can still choose as well.
the county, you know what I mean, like the county
Right.
that people in.
So, I mean, he's trying to do the best he can with the situation. He reopened. When he reopened, people said he did it too soon.
Because at the gym, we don't wear masks.
I mean, it's funny you brought that up. It's funny you said that because the gyms near downtown,
That's high democratic areas.
yeah, a lot of people are wearing masks.
These are the people that think the skies are falling at the same time. These are the people that aren't talking about faith.
No. You can't put that on all the people.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stop you from doing
I
that
appreciate
shit.
that.
Yeah,
'Cause
like,
that's what this
you
chick
can't
does.
you can't put a blanket over
Yeah,
all
yeah,
people who
yeah.
don't agree with what you think. It's just like, some people are just more considerate, more concerned, and plus, like you said, they live in high traffic areas.
I don't know if I buy that.
Huh?
I don't know if I buy that because if you really sit down and talk to people are hypocritical in their own thought process.
I
Even
mean,
myself.
everybody can
that's
be
what I said,
hypocritical,
even
but that
my
doesn't
myself.
mean that doesn't
Me
take
myself.
away from them not caring to people. Like I care about people, but I'm not giving, everybody $2 on the streets. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean I care less about people than the next person, but I mean, I wouldn't say that's hypocritical. I would just say,
Well, like
that's just
we've
mankind,
spoken
really.
about this many times. We're not talking about like politicians, people like that. They're not talking about real issues. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, why would they?
They're not
Because
talking about real
like
issues.
really deep, real issues. You
Well,
know what I'm
like
saying?
what?
Because
Like
like the
like
health aspect. What are people eating? What is your exercise concept? What is your prayer meditation like
I
to be more
mean,
peaceful?
I don't feel
Like that
like
should be in the same mix as well. Like, did you hear about this lady? I think it was like 2014, 2015. This senator out of Georgia. She came out with a long article that she wrote about CPS,
mhm.
Child Protective Service in Georgia.
Mhm.
Kind of like taking kids away from their family, giving
Mhm.
them foster home, and a chunk of those kids became sex slaves.
Mhm.
At the same time, and then in the future, maybe I don't know how long afterwards, her and her husband miraculously killed themselves.
What?
Exactly. So like the reality is, you know what I mean? Like the reality is like the wealthy people of the world have a lot of sway on how things go. Like I'm talking
Like
about
when
the
I said last week, Bill Gates has power.
influence. You know what I mean? Like
Power. No, I'm
I
fucking
like
with
the
you.
influence word because there's backstory. We don't have to go into that.
Right. Go ahead.
So like my thinking is that look, give people freedom of choice, and if the proper education, they will go along with what individuals want to do if they're properly educated.
Right, and
The
that's why
reality is
people downtown are wearing masks.
the reality is a lot of times you don't want to you don't want to guilt and shame people because that's going to backfire quickly.
Mm.
As we're seeing now. At the same time,
Who's guilting and shaming people?
bro, I hear this all the time. This
How so?
literally like the other day, like I
You
was,
seen people in the streets getting guilted and shamed
bro,
into
the
wearing masks.
motherfucker, people.
I've
Hold on,
walked
let's
past
hit the brakes.
people. I've walked in rooms where one person wasn't wearing a mask and nobody said nothing to the person who wasn't wearing a mask.
Literally just the other day, this woman Uber driving was asking me, like, do I allow, what do I do? What's Uber's policy? I said, I'm more than likely they're going to keep it the same. I don't see it changing.
Right.
And she's like, well, what about, and I was like, well, me personally, I allow people to do whatever they want,
Right.
and she was like, wow, like, are you wearing a mask the whole time? I was like, well, probably 98% of the time, yes. Because there have been those times where people buy me a meal, will go through drive-through or something happens.
Right.
How you gonna eat? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you had to take it off.
Right.
And by that time, we both already wear like whatever. And
So I was so
and she
you,
was basically saying like she had that thought process of like I saw where it was going. She was going to start kind of trying to shame
hold
me.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me backtrack. So you assume just because she was inquisitive that
I saw where
she's
it was
about
going.
to shame you.
I saw where it was going.
I mean, she has her own. She has her
Mark,
own
I've
opinions.
met like 30,000 people.
I understand.
Reading
but,
individuals is pretty. It's not hard.
Right, right.
And so like I started talking more about faith, and I brought up the story about Frank who who died and came back to life. I said we're not speaking enough about God. And this is a part that's just mind-boggling to me because it's a higher realm. If it's your time, it's your time. There's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, there is something you can
people-
do about it
the
in a
reality
situation if you could keep people alive just from wearing a
hold on,
mask.
the
This
rea-
is a situation
the
we
re-
literally can take control of.
We don't know that. The
We
reality
we
is
already have
Well,
cases have gone down to
all right,
like
let's
what
look,
2%.
Let's look at California. California has extreme rules. They have the most cases ever.
They have the most cases ever.
in
Have you looked that up?
in America?
Have you looked that up?
Correct.
So that California has.
All
We
right.
about to look this
Look-
up right
look
now. I'm
this
not
up.
about to take
Look
this
this
bullshit. Because last week, I remember I was listening to the show. This boy he said Texas the most progressive state in the world.
I said Houston.
No, Houston's the most progressive city in the world.
United States.
You said the world.
Okay. I
was like, this boy,
I'll
he
be
just be
honest.
throwing
Look,
just shit out there, boy.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't hear myself back, and that's what I said. I'll retract that and say Houston in United States.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Highest cases in U.S. Let's see. Highest COVID cases. I cannot. Okay. My boy JP. JP, look up the highest COVID cases real quick so we can actually have some solid facts on here, some solid food. We can't just keep giving people watered down bullshit. Nah. But I mean, honestly, man, I just feel like California is almost like that. So is New York.
Same concept.
They're like that because they're on top of each other. Literally, Texas is spaced out, so people can, social distance on accident. With California and New York, literally, like people are living in boxes on top of each other.
Think about how many individuals I've come in contact since the beginning of this.
I mean, what you?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yes. How many people do you think I meet a year? Thousands. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's been a year now.
So, according to COVID Let's hear it.
Boom! I told you. So extreme measures,
Hold on, hold on,
Mark.
hold on,
You
hold
know.
on. Go, keep reading.
Boom.
And how
Boom.
many are in New York? Who's second?
So the biggest
Texas.
states.
No, that was a turn. That was a turn. Wait, who's second? Texas.
Doesn't matter. We're not
No,
number
no,
one.
no.
It's not
We're
number
not
one.
number one.
Doesn't matter. All right. Who's got? Wait,
Whole bunch of bigots.
Who has the most? Who has the most? The death. I think New Jersey
I
has the
think
most
New
deaths.
York and New Jersey
Yeah, I
has the
think they
most
got the
deaths.
most.
But like New York is even worse because, like I said earlier, they're right on top of each other. Texas is big because of its negligence, and California is big because both negligence and people being on top of each other. So I mean, it's all about like how you take it, how you read the information. But it is what it is. It's just like I mean, if we let go of the mask mandate, there's a higher possibility that more people would get COVID. It is what it is.
They said the same thing about Florida months ago when Florida
I
said,
don't
"Look,
know.
we're rolling."
I'm pretty
And
sure
then
Florida's not reporting their numbers.
People were, come on now.
Man,
Stop.
honestly, there's states that are over-reporting numbers, and there are states
Come
that are
on now.
under-reporting. I
Well,
bet
that's
money.
crazy.
Oh wait, where is Florida on
What
that
is
list?
this?
Do you still have the list popped up?
What is this? China?
Florida was up there. See, we
Well, let's look
just
at
crushing all
let's
this
look
shit
at
right
their
now.
death rate though.
Look at their death rate.
Like, look, how many people out here? How many people get the flu every year? Now, I'm not saying that this is like I haven't had it, so I couldn't tell you what it's
Right.
like. I'm not gonna sit around here and just play myself.
Right.
The re-
I had COVID. It was
Again,
pretty
I
bad.
do feel as if that if you watch people's actions.
So you haven't even had COVID before?
No, because I from the beginning I said I refuse to allow this to affect my life.
Mm-hmm. So it's just
I
like
refuse. I
so how
cancel
can you
this out
truly
of my
empathize?
brain. Well, there won't because I haven't. There won't be deep empathy
I don't
because I
think-
haven't lived through that aspect, so I don't fully know.
Well, JP about to hit it. He put the finger up. You about to hit us with some more info?
Well, yeah. So as far as deaths go, California's leading again.
California's leading deaths.
3,800.
God damn.
And Texas is actually third behind New York, who has 48,000.
Texas is
So-
in the top
so
three.
here's reality.
Texas is in the top three, and we are reopening
That's
the state.
fine. There's only been like 5,000 deaths here in Houston.
There's only been
Out
5,000.
of, like, how many-
We're
how
talking
many-
about Texas.
how
We're not
many-
talking about Houston.
I know that. Well, I was thinking about the city of Houston.
I feel like Houston. I mean, it probably has a better
So how
chance
many-
because we probably have better health care.
How many cases has there been overall in the city of Houston?
We have better health care in Houston, so I assume that we'd have less people die.
I don't know
Like
about that.
we're
I
a
think-
city that prides
I-
ourselves
look,
on our health care. People
the
fly into the city
Yeah, that
to
also
get health
means
care.
that also means how unhealthy this region is.
I mean, that
If
is
we
true
got
too.
the biggest medical center in the United States
I think
right
but within
here.
the last 10 years, we led America in obesity. I'll have to look up that. I know that for a fact we was in top 3
Yeah,
at
you
one point in
overweight.
the last 10.
So again, it comes back to my conversation. We've
I
spoken
mean,
about
yeah,
this,
we
about
should definitely
health.
prioritize health.
Like, I'm not
but I
saying-
mean, we shouldn't ignore the mandate that's going on.
I don't care. Like, I'm at a point now. It's like we'll go along with these things. We're masking the real issue. The real issue is that people are deeply unhealthy. That's one of the biggest concepts. Right
I mean,
there.
it's not even that.
People
It's,
don't exercise.
it's not even that's not. It's
That's-
not even that's a
That's
huge
why
issue.
I started exercising and trying to change my diet because I would love to live to 100. And I even started walking this week because I watched.
But like I said earlier, it's all about where you're putting your attention to.
But
like you
if
said,
you-
like on the news outlets and all this stuff,
I don't
that
listen to that.
that people
It's
are all they're
fear-based.
talking about is like, oh, health. And all they're talking about is like, oh, people dying from COVID, blah blah blah. But like, who is that? Your father who said like every day you see information about health and shit
in the newspaper.
Yeah, I see it in the newspaper too. So it's just about where you put your attention. If you want to put your attention on the coronavirus and the fear and all that shit, I mean, that's what you choose to do.
Hold
It
on.
is what it
No,
is. But
what-
there's other
So
information
you're
out
basically
there.
speaking what I'm doing.
Uh,
Because at the beginning of this, I said, number one, I refuse to allow this to affect my life, and it
Right.
hasn't. In that aspect of life.
Right.
And
But
on
you're
the
saying
back
but
end-
you're saying that people
on
aren't
the-
talking enough about health.
the
But
back
the
end,
thing
though,
is, you're not even going to find the sources of these information.
On the back end, though, I cancel this stuff out. Like,
Mm.
remember a few weeks ago when you're like, yo, man, we had the freaking show, then I got a cold, whatever. I heard JP outside sneezing, yada, yada, yada.
Mm. I didn't hear that.
I
Boy,
heard all
JP
that.
snuck a cold
You know
on
what
my
I'm saying?
ass.
Like, and while this was going on, I was canceling this out of my brain.
Oh, yeah,
Cancel. I refuse to allow this to affect my life. There's techniques on how to do this.
Honestly, I just worked out extra hard. Definitely a mental thing for sure. But whenever I feel myself coming down or feel like a scratch in my throat, I start going to the gym. I mean, I started going to the gym. I'm already on a whole health regimen, I would say.
Sure.
But I would just say I would go even harder. But
There was someone that made this quote. I heard it was Thomas
What?
Jefferson. I don't know. And it said that if we choose safety over freedom, we don't deserve any of them.
We choose safety over freedom.
We don't deserve either of them.
Well, elaborate on that. What do you mean by that?
I feel as if that what's being said is that if we take so many precautions instead of being freedom of choice, then we don't deserve either of them, because this is America. America's built on freedom to allow people to do the. I told you the story what happened about this gentleman who was telling me about his nephew, where the dude didn't want to wear a mask, came back in Starbucks with a gun. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I'm not letting that happen to me. Like, let motherfuckers do what they
That's
want.
an extremely rare
That's
case.
on all sides.
People aren't just
on the back
pulling
end-
up with
on the back
pistols
end, though,
because
that's-
they're being
Hold
told
on.
to wear a mask.
On the back end, though, we have to think about as well. That's extremely egotistical on Starbucks side as well, because they're putting their employees' life at jeopardy.
They're putting their
They
employees.
should have been
If
like,
they choose not
whatever.
to wear masks, they're still putting their employees' life in
But
jeopardy.
if the person is wearing, if the individual itself is wearing a mask, I feel as if like the chances could go down. Correct?
Right. If somebody's
So it's
wearing a
like,
mask, it's true.
So it's like, yo, if you're wearing a mask, it's like me Uber driving. You get in the car. I've seen healthcare workers not wear masks. They tell me they're in the healthcare
But I've
industry.
also seen healthcare
And-
workers wear masks.
Of course,
No
I'm-
matter where you go, it's going to be people on either side.
That's what I'm saying. So my thing is just to let people do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow people to do what they want, the reason why people so open with me during Uber driving is because I allow people to be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And by that aspect, you can actually change the mindset of an individual. When you try to
But
force
how are you
someone,
going to police somebody as an Uber driver? I don't feel like that's
well,
accurate.
you can get a sense of their mind,
Right.
and then you can plant a seed. And with that, it's like me talking about God all the time. I'm not God. I'm not going to change your thought process. All I'm going to do is maybe plant that seed, just like my buddy KO. KO brought me into that church. It planted that seed that no matter what, how many disagreements we have, I'll always be grateful for him for that aspect. And so there'll always be a different sort of relationship. Now, is a relationship as close and we have these deep conversations between two of us? Of course not. This is a different kind of relationship. And so my thing is that if you plant the seed, allow people to be themselves, eventually they'll be open. The ego will be more susceptible to take in information. When you start forcing people what they have to do and cannot do,
It's not a forcing.
It's a force.
Like
they're forcing
so
people.
am
Hold
I
on.
forcing you not to kill somebody?
They're forcing people to be empathetic that aren't empathetic.
Okay. I'm forcing people who are bloodthirsty murderers to not murder. It is what it is.
It was whatever. Let them do what they want. Who cares?
Let them murder. Just let them
That's
murder.
life. I'm not
like,
God.
oh, they gonna go to jail.
I'm not
That's
God.
not force. It's just like
I'm not God.
It's just consideration.
It's life. It's
That's why
life.
you're not a leader as far as politicians or anything.
I don't
you know
want
what
to
I'm
do that though.
saying? It's not even about what you want. It's about what it is.
I don't want to do that. That's not
I'm
something
not
in my life
asking
I'm
what
yearning
you
want
to do. I'm not talking about what you want to do. I'm talking about what is happening. So the whole reason this whole mask mandate and all this shit happened and all the hand washing is to consider so people won't go home and kill their grandmothers and shit. You know, it's just like, I know you feel like, oh, and it's your time to die. It's time to die. But like I said before, I mean, if I care about the people in my household, I definitely don't want to be subject to that.
Mark, let me ask you a couple questions.
What you got?
You've been many places. since
Many
the beginning of
places.
this virus.
Many places.
Out of the country.
Out of the country. Yes.
So subconsciously, it shows what your actions really care about. You don't care either. Because
Oh.
if we really did care, we wouldn't be doing anything.
No.
We would be kind of waiting, and we'd be a lot more cautious. We wouldn't be flying around. You know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't do these things.
I
We
gotta
would be-
work.
we
Well,
would be-
the one outside the country
well,
was
we're not
going to
go in that detail.
Well,
So,
that
like,
wasn't
you
work,
know,
but I gotta work. It is what it is. But at the same time, I take my precautions. Like I said, I'm gonna still live my life, but I'm gonna wear my mask. I'm gonna wash my hands and shit. That's all they're asking you to do. It's not like they're asking you to fucking literally sit in your room.
I grasp that concept.
You know, it's like
Again,
the
but
government is
what-
not asking you to
what
do
they're-
much, and people
what
make
all
it
they're
seem
really
like
doing-
you're making a whole freedom shit. You know what I'm saying? A
No,
whole
what-
debate about freedom when it's just like an ask for a consideration for the people next to you. It's not about your rights. It's not that big of a fucking deal, but everybody makes it that big of a deal. But I do agree. Like, you know, give people the
Well, let
power
me-
of choice.
let me say
It
this.
is what it is.
I
But
told you the story about Frank who was shot, and the bullet's still behind his eye.
the bullet's still behind his
The
eye.
bullet, when it gets cold, it's really cold outside, he said he can feel it. And
Oh God!
Half of
but
his,
what does that have to
half
do with
of
this?
his body feels like it's on fire.
What does that have to do with this?
It comes
where
back
are you
down
going?
to faith.
Okay.
And when it's when I was going through counseling, one of my biggest things in life was dying. And she
Right.
would always tell me, when it's your time, it's your time. And when this virus situation started happening, and I started, explaining, then she started went a whole nother direction.
But think about
again,
because
hold
this
on.
is something that can
Hold
be
on,
prevented.
hold on,
That's
hold
like saying when it's your time, it's your time. I know you're jumping out this plane tomorrow, but I mean, if you die jumping out the plane, it is
Look,
what it is.
I feel everything is going in a loving. Everything is going exactly where it needs. It's not falling apart. It's falling together.
What? What you mean? I mean, I feel like everything is just eventually getting back to quote unquote normal. It's just gonna have to. People are getting tired of this shit. Like I'm getting tired of this shit. I
That's
don't
what
like
I was
wearing a
trying to
mask
explain
everywhere.
to that gentleman that we got into a big situation about. I was like, look, people are moving on.
People are moving
And he
forward.
didn't want to accept it. He really did because at home his
But
wife was stressing him out.
It depends on where you're at.
And I
You know what I'm
told
saying?
him-
It depends. Like you say this because you see all these people in Texas. You go to California, people are very COVID conscious.
I'm not living there.
Of course, you're not living there, but I'm just saying.
I don't wanna
people-
live there.
People give a fuck. There are people who actually get because you said people are moving forward, but I'm telling you, there's a whole people
check this
that
out.
give a fuck.
Imagine if I went there. Like my best friend lives in Seattle, Washington,
Right.
and he says there's a lot of places like if you don't wear a mask, they will yell at you and shame you. That's not that's not going anywhere. That's not helping the problem.
I will admit that's a negative way of going about it, but at the same time, why the fuck are you not wearing a mask?
And this
Just
is
wear
coming.
a fucking mask.
This is coming from someone whose grandfather died from COVID. And then I asked
His
him,
grandfather
and I had-
died from COVID.
Yes, and in Mexico. Then I had to retract that. I said, well, let's Guillermo, let's not play ourselves. He had multiple heart attacks. Like again,
I mean, but he could have
again.
if
a lot
hadn't
of
he had
a
COVID,
lot of these people
he
that
could have
are-
probably had a few more heart attacks before he
Okay,
died.
Here's another story. No matter what, like you just don't want to accept this. Like
No, 'cause
I'm open minded to what you have to say.
I'm open-minded to what you're saying. I was like, I feel what you're saying, but I'm trying to let you know that regardless of
Let people do what they want.
Let people do what you want, but I'm just saying not doing it is just inconsiderate. It's just like not going about it is inconsiderate. Not getting a vaccine, not doing whatever you can do to prevent it. Like if you're not gonna wear a mask, just get a fucking vaccine. It's like I understand. Like I get it. I'm tired of the mask too. I definitely understand. Like I'm telling you, I understand. But I'm just letting you know that it's still inconsiderate behavior. Regardless of how you want to put it, just because you're over it doesn't mean it's over. Like I heard something on TikTok a long time ago. It's like the pandemic isn't over just because you're over it. It's true. Like people are still dying. People still getting COVID. There was actually
People dying every day, bro.
people dying every day.
Ever
but
since
hold
we
on,
were
hold on.
born,
People are
tons of
people
people.
are dying every
Tons of
day.
people
But
dying every day
if
since we
we
were born.
have
Tons of
if we
people.
can
If
ha-
we- let's
do
look at it like this.
preventative
Let's look at it
measures,
like this.
we're doing preventative measures to keep more people from dying.
Correct.
Like people die from cancer, we have a cancer center. People die from heart attacks, we got the doctor. We have people dying from corona. Wear a fucking mask.
what
It's
is
the same as everything else. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I feel what you're saying.
What is the root problem of a lot of this? I like to hit the root. If we can go at
Well,
the
the root
then
is-
we can maybe heal the tree.
Well, I would say
The
the root.
mask, the distance, and whatever the hell else they implemented, all that really is shaving branches on the tree. It's not fixing the root. The root is people are unhealthy. There are cases of healthy people that catch these things and have a horrible time with it. Yes, that is true. And that is a very small percentage. The major percentage of individuals are deeply unhealthy. That's why my father and I have such big disagreements, because I don't understand why we're not bringing people that are experts in nutrition onto the television with these doctors. I don't understand why we're not bringing individuals that are experts in physical exercise onto this aspect. Why are we not talking more about prayer, meditation? You and I are doing this. We are more peaceful inside.
Right.
When you're more peaceful inside, you're more loving inside. If you move the mind from non-loving, less fear-based to a loving aspect, you will heal itself damn near.
Right.
So
right.
with and anything else, medicine has come so far, it can elevate the rest. And so with that being said, that's my biggest disagreement. We're going to walk away from
So
this.
you feel like the nutritionists and the health people are just not getting a big enough platform?
Yes.
Okay, I can agree with you on that one.
I
Because I can't say that I've seen that narrative get pushed as heavily as the COVID narrative. I will agree with you on that.
And I met a woman this week, her job was suicide hotline. And she said suicides, like that has gone off the charts.
But at the same time, like some things you can't just change in a year.
Then I told the story about Frank to her. She said, I'm getting chills right now in my body because people, that is the whole showcase. We're not God out here. Let God do God's job. Let's just figure out what we can do for our own
Like,
life.
as far as the rapidness of COVID versus like health, I would say. Like, what do you say for freaking Bob, who's 300 pounds? He's been 300 pounds.
Remember what you said about my car situation 30 minutes ago? It's your fault, right? Like, that's exactly what you told me.
But did you die?
That's
You
exactly
you
what
ended up with $15,000 in debt. You didn't end
Hold
up
on.
dead.
You said three. Hold on. You said Bob 300 pounds. Why did you get 300 pounds to begin with? Like,
I mean, I understand
like,
that. I understand
Mark,
that.
I'm open to this concept as long as we're also speaking about some root issues here.
Right.
Like this is
health is an issue.
This is a big issue.
Health is a huge issue.
That-
I agree
Like
with
we're
you.
gonna walk away
100%.
from this, and then people still gonna be deeply unhealthy.
That's true.
And so when another one comes again, that's a lot more serious because
There aren't
no-
any healthy eating options
no-
in Houston. Like, I mean, not gonna say there aren't any,
there's
but
probably
I would
some.
say there's not a lot. There's especially like late night or anything.
Well, that's not meant for freaking. This is where McDonald's lost it. Bill Burr said this,
What?
and I fully agree. When they started falling into what like the social justice warriors wanted to happen, like you don't have enough health options, they should have stepped up and been like, "Look, McDonald's is for fucking drunk people in the middle of the night, and also kids."
I mean, they haven't done anything to change. I think whether they made an
The
Impossible
salads and stuff
Burger or
like
something,
that, I
salad.
think, you
Man,
know,
nobody give a fuck about that shit.
Somebody's.
I'm saying I do agree with you. We should push the narrative of health more. I will agree with you on that. But I still say that people who refuse to wear a mask and abide by the rules are inconsiderate. Like
You
there's-
shouldn't. No.
These are both right.
See, again,
No, it
that
is-
is that's shaming these people.
That's not shaming.
That is shaming.
That is
That's
literal
you
inconsideration.
Saying, that's
you putting a
literally-
negative connotation on what I'm saying.
because you're saying.
I'm saying that you're being inconsiderate.
Remember, all right, I'm not gonna go there.
I'm saying-
and the reality
I'm
is
saying
that
people
you
aren't
you saying that these
people
individuals
aren't
are
prioritizing
inconsiderate.
health.
Here's reality: science doesn't even believe in science.
What you mean science don't believe in science?
There's contradictions all over the place from different doctors, different scientists. They're all contradicting themselves.
Well, like,
one
what-
person
what-
says
like
one
what?
thing, certain hypothesis.
what?
People say masks work. Then you find someone else will be like, I don't know how much the mask really work because now we need the double mask. It's like, yo, what? You know what I mean? Like, it's all over the place because again,
So a
from the-
scientist
this
saying
is how
that
we should have
one
handled it.
mask is
how
not
we-
enough is contradicting
This
to
is how
wearing
we
two
should have
masks.
handled it from the beginning.
I'm trying to hear these contradicting thoughts. That
We
you're talking
should have
about.
handled this from the beginning. Look, folks, I don't know what's going on here. We're just gonna try some stuff.
That's literally what they're doing.
No, they're trying to tell people what you have to, can, and can't
Well,
do.
they're
When you
going
start
with
this-
science and they're
bro,
doing studies.
America
and
was
people,
built on freedom, and now you're taking people's freedoms away, and they don't
That's what I'm
like
saying. You're
it.
making it an issue about freedom. It's not an issue about freedom. About wearing a fucking mask and gloves is not about freedom. Closing the fucking movie theater? Okay, that fucking sucks. Closing the restaurants and shit. It's about safety.
That's
it's not
fine.
You're like, see, that sounds like some sort of
But what
Republican
it-
bigot
what it-
shit.
hold on.
It's like,
Bro, don't-
you're
no.
taking away our freedom by
Bro, don't-
making us wear these
Bro, come on
masks.
now. Don't do
like,
that.
what the?
Don't
No,
do
but
that,
that's
bro.
exactly
Don't do
what
that.
you sound like right
do
now. He's
that.
like, you're taking away people's freedom. It's not about freedom, bro. It's about being considerate
what
about
did
the
I
man
say
next
about,
to you.
What about the quote? If we choose safety over freedom, we deserve none of it.
I mean,
That's one person's opinion.
that's what I'm saying. That's an opinion. That's not a fuck.
And
That's not a fact.
That's your opinion as well to wear the mask. My opinion
It's
is
not an opinion.
My opinion.
It's a whole
My
statewide,
opinion.
worldwide
My
thing.
opinion. My
It's
opinion.
a worldwide
opinion.
fact.
My opinion is a lot of people do what they want.
It's a worldwide fact
Let
to
'em do
wear
what
a
they want.
mask to help to prevent COVID.
Let them do what they
The
want.
spread-
Now, am I hypocritical?
Bro,
Hold on. Am I hypocritical? I'm pretty hypocritical at my own point because I wear that mask to church and I'm trying to go catch that word.
Trying
you know
to
what I'm
catch
saying?
that word.
So I will do in that.
Because you ain't trying to
aspect.
catch that COVID.
I
You
don't
know,
give-
other people
no,
wearing it.
I don't
wearing
care.
It.
I
You don't
told-
care,
I told
but
you I
other
don't
people
care.
do.
Bro, I've
You're
been
not
in-
wearing
hold
it
on,
for
hold on,
you.
hold on.
You're not wearing it
Hold
for
on, Mark.
you.
Mark, I've been in a COVID unit. Okay?
Okay.
And I told him I didn't have COVID.
Okay.
And I told the doctor, and this is how foul, and this is what
But that goes what I was
this
saying
is what
earlier.
I'm seeing in my life. I'm speaking on my own thing. When people start speculating other people's lives, it's nonsense because they don't know what they're talking about. They haven't lived it.
What you
You know what I
talking
mean?
about?
Like when people say, well, this is how this, and this. You know, like you can only speak on things that you live through.
What are you talking about?
That means it brings validity.
I had COVID.
Okay, then. So I'm speaking on my aspect of what happened in this concept.
But that's why I told you earlier, some states are
had a
swelling
fever.
the numbers. Some states are not reporting all the numbers. Like it's all about it's about funding. You know, it's like if you have more COVID numbers, you get more money. I mean, some people, you know, it's not an issue of morality, but that's a whole nother conversation. But what were you saying?
I was gonna say that I was in this COVID unit because at that time I was having immense amount of intestinal issues, which I've had over the last few years. That's why I started exercising, going another direction. And then I had a fever, so I got thrown into this COVID unit. I was like, yo, I don't have no COVID. What am I doing here?
Right.
Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And they're like, well, we have to take precaution. Blah, blah,
Man,
blah,
it's,
blah, blah,
it's
blah.
a fair. You also have to keep in mind it's a fairly new disease,
And
so
so-
there's a lot of ignorance in the medical field about this disease.
Yeah, but you signed up for this. This is your job.
I mean, I understand, but
If you're a
it's just-
healthcare worker, like straight up,
I mean,
and
there's gonna be things you don't know. Like you love Jesus, you don't know everything in the Bible, do you?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. You call yourself a follower of God and Jesus Christ, but
Correct.
can you quote 5 lines from the Bible right now?
God is love. Okay. You can at least pray because it's the power of something higher above. Like that's what we're losing this concept.
But you're
You
talking
had to-
about a doctor.
You
though.
had to trust.
They're literally
here's
trained in the
reality.
medical
we
field
have to
to
trust
save
God.
lives.
That God knows what God's doing.
But
We're not God.
Look. If my doctor came in and was about to do surgery, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna just put this in God's hands.
No, of course.
The boy JP, you know what? He looked up. He's like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna just put this in God's hand. Like, hold on, nigga, don't cut me. Give me somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, as far as the medical field, you have to be precise in what you know.
This is my thing that we need to speak more about.
Okay.
We need to speak more about. We can talk about, like I said, I'm open-minded to do the mask thing, to do the distance, all this nonsense, because you go to a grocery store, everyone's on top of each other.
Right.
And so
Yes, it's
and
ridiculous.
then you go to the restaurant and then you wear the mask to the table and then just like
You
COVID.
take it off at the table.
Like that last week, we went to the freaking anyways, this woman, her and I went to a restaurant, and then like I sit down, I was like, I'm not wearing no mask to walk around. Like this is stupid. Like
Right.
we're all right by each other, not wearing masks. This is silly.
I mean,
if you look at what
it's
people
technically
really doing,
6 feet away, whatever.
it's
so.
all silly. Like because
I
what
mean,
it's like when you go to a strip
depends on how
club.
they seat you down. I don't go to the strip club. People going to the strip club, that just doesn't make any sense
Bro,
to me. But
There's so many clubs here in Houston that stayed open.
That's
and
what I'm saying.
and
I don't understand why we even doing this whole reopening
I'm
thing.
all
Like we've
for it.
been
Like,
open.
it's been open. Nothing
Yeah.
has changed.
California's right behind that, opening up concerts. They're doing what? They're doing concerts. They're doing Disney and all the theme parks.
Dude,
so they're
like that-
practically at
Again,
100%.
I think that governor has almost like 2 million votes on being recalled. People obviously don't like him.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
people don't like any of our
that's what
governors apparently,
happens.
but that's what happens when you don't invest from the ground up.
Yo, they
that's
like
what we were
that-
talking about before, but that's a whole nother
They like that
conversation.
dude out there in DeSantis out there in Florida. I'll
Who?
vote for that guy.
Really?
If he runs for president, I'll vote for him.
Oh man,
I'll rock with it.
I don't really know much about Florida's governing
I
system.
like seeing courage.
People from Florida tend to have crazy tendencies. I'm not gonna say all of them, but you hear a lot of. If you Google Florida, man, you'll see a lot of weird shit.
Hold on. Again, a lot of people talk down on this man. They had the NBA went to play there. They had the Super Bowl there. So all these big time, these teams, these extreme liberals, they see like, yo, we want to keep
They're
making
trying to
money.
make that money.
So no matter what
That
you
boy-
want, here's
that boy
reality.
said, "I want
No
that
one
money."
wants to accept the fact that it's about cash money.
But in the defense of the NFL, the Super Bowl designations are set like 6-7 years ahead of time. So they're
Yeah.
already going-
That's okay because they could have changed that. They could have
Yeah.
changed that. They wanted to. They didn't want to because they want to keep making money. They know that Florida's going to bring us some cash.
Yeah, I mean they're very
And then, again-
financially incentivized for sure. But I'm gonna move on. We all, like I said from the beginning, it's all about big business. That's what this whole reopening is about. I mean, I'm all for it. We gonna.
And that, now, do
We
I
gonna-
have? And at times, am I lacking
I'm-
empathy in this situation? Yes.
Yes.
Because I'm beat down.
I'm beat down.
I'm tired of hearing about this nonsense. Like, I want to hear about some real issues. Let's talk about how unhealthy these people are. Let's
Yeah.
talk about all the issues you
I mean,
already had.
So how you feel about this whole vaccine situation?
Take it.
I'm all for the
Especially
vaccine. I used to be anti-vaccine, but I'm ready to live a normal life again.
If you're
so.
doing drugs, take the
Just
vaccine.
Take the damn vaccine. You eating ass?
If you're eating freaking fast food and all this stuff, hell, if you're eating anything, you don't know where none of this is coming from.
All right, so I'm gonna move forward, man. We could go about this forever. Like everything's reopening, big business. It is what it is. We also got the news on the stimulus. That's finally it went through the House and then it went through the Senate. Senate made their little revisions. Then it went back to now it's back at the House, and I think they're supposed to pass it before the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're gonna give people giving people unemployment up until September. They're gonna do.
My bad, yo,
They're
we
gonna-
got heated.
Yeah, it literally got hot.
Yo,
literally got hot in here.
This is good because this is how a lot of Mark and I's conversations go, and that's okay. This shows our friendship that we can move on and
Yeah,
it's
we just
not that
move forward.
serious.
It's like we disagree and we just move forward. It's cool. I have no issue. Still have a lot of love for you, no matter how you think. I know in your heart you're a good friend, and that's what matters the most to me. even though you're kind of crazy at sometimes.
I am. But I've been diagnosed.
He's been diagnosed as crazy. I ain't even gonna go there, but I'll go there.
All right.
But yeah,
Your boy
so
got, I was gonna say your boy got a little schizo last year. All right. And
little
that's
schizo, man.
That's
little
when stress
schizo.
came. Stress brought that.
Yeah, man. That's why you. I was telling you before. I mean, even before you got into health, I was always preaching like prioritize health. Prioritize like taking care of yourself, take care of your body, taking care of your mind. And when you don't, you see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's just even with this whole COVID nonsense, like you said, suicide is up. I definitely recommend everybody just prioritize self-help and making sure that their mental is good and get the vaccine. Just get the fucking vaccine. If you feel skeptical about it, you're probably smoking some weed. You don't know where the fuck it came from. Just get the fucking vaccine. All right, so I don't even mean
And
to
don't
cuss
tell
so
me you're
much.
anti-vaxxer if you're doing drugs because, again, you don't know where none of these drugs are you coming
I don't
from.
know.
that
People
you're
getting
taking.
food. They don't know where it came from. People
Yeah.
taking Tylenol. What the
Like-
hell is in Tylenol? But anyway, we're going to move forward. So I was talking about the stimulus. That's cool. Joe, run me my money. And also, I think we had a pretty good conversation, man. But I did want to talk a little bit about these non-fungible tokens. I'm only bringing this up because I want to release my next album as a non-fungible token. So basically, it's a digital art form that is made to be rare. So it's just like having, I don't know, freaking a Banksy or something, right? And there's only few Banksies, but having it in a digital form, which is still kind of a strange new concept to me, but you can buy it through Ethereum. Ethereum is another cryptocurrency. It's a whole cryptocurrency market. The biggest one's Bitcoin, Ethereum, now Dogecoin, even though it's essentially worthless. And there's one more, I believe. There's Ripple. There's a lot that's going around, but the biggest ones, of course, is Bitcoin. But with that, with non-fungible tokens, you can use it like, what's his name? Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, he used it. He made like a couple $1 million off selling memes as a non-fungible token.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna let that sit in. Let that sit. So basically, you heard about this. So what he did, he's made some memes from a basketball game, whatever, and he uploaded them onto these websites to where you create these NFTs. So with the NFTs, he got some diehard fans pretty much to buy all of them up, and then they resell them. And as they resell them, he gets a percentage of it.
I don't know about this, bro. Like,
I mean,
it
I
seems
honestly
like-
don't know about it either.
like-
it's more of a hype thing, in my personal
it
opinion.
kind of goes back down like when they stopped using like gold to back up the dollar.
Yeah.
It's worthless.
I mean,
I want
people are just trying to find something new with value, I guess.
I mean, JP said it. We really got to get that other mixer so he can chime in. at
Yeah,
times.
right. We'll get it
And
soon.
He did say this about
Honestly,
like,
with
I
this
want
refund that stimulus check come in, shit, we gonna get that mixer pronto.
but that's not their information.
Oh no.
Talk about cost.
It's happening.
It doesn't matter what.
I mean, I could buy. Man,
We don't have to go there.
Okay.
We'll do that offline.
Yeah, I just be cheap.
The
I
thing,
gotta stop
the
being
thing
cheap.
about it though is like JP said this well, and I agree. Was like I want something hard, tangible. It's like Nipsey Hussle when he had those $100 CDs.
Right.
They were hardcore, and you can hold on to them. But like, yo, this is what I have.
Right.
Because like I feel like there's more valuable in like a
More
bottle
value.
of wine than some like I buy like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there too. Like, I'm still on the trying to figure this shit out as well. But at the same time, I mean, money is technically digital anyway. So it's just really just moving it.
Yeah, I don't care about money like that because TD Jakes said today, that boy say, look, I'm telling you,
money magnet.
I love this guy TD Jakes. He's so animated and it's so much.
Yeah, he's a big fella. I
Yeah,
mean,
like-
as far as character.
And he walks around
literal, too.
like he walks around the church. Dude comes off the stage and just starts walking around the sanctuary. It was crazy.
Right,
And he
sweating
was
on
basically
everybody.
saying like, at any moment in time, God could snap his fingers and say, or snap its fingers, however we want to look at it, male or female, and basically say that you're gonna be blessed with money. You can win the lottery. You can win all these type of things. So again, my biggest thing is like, let's continue our faith, and then all these other blessings will come with that. You know what I'm saying?
Faith and hard work.
And if you're supposed to be wealthy, you're supposed to be wealthy. If you're supposed to be poor, you're gonna be
Faith, hard work, and direction. And I mean, no, I don't. I mean, you're supposed to be wealthy. You're supposed to be wealthy. You're supposed to be
Because-
poor. That's like a concept
on.
of fate. That's
poor. No,
fate.
that
That's not
concept.
faith.
This is the concept of that is acceptance of where your life is. The reason why I was so upset
I mean,
today.
but it takes acceptance to move forward. So if you're poor or whatever, and you accept that, okay, I'm poor, but I can do better. Now you can, once you accept it, now you can move into a rich mindset and move
But
forward.
why do people want to get money? What's the point of that?
I
What are
mean,
they? What are they? What are they searching for with money?
it's personal. It's personal to everybody. Everybody has their personal goals with money. Me
But
personally,
what are they? What are they utilizing? What do they put money to with? There's an emotion they attach money with.
I'm, huh? Status? Status?
Because
Honestly,
to
that's
them
not
that
everybody though. It's just like me. I want money just so I can live comfortably.
so you can have a
Comfortable life. I can
and you want to be.
I can crash my car and not have to worry about, oh shit, I could just buy another
now?
one.
What's the
You know what I'm saying?
what's the emotion that comes with that? There's an emotion.
Happiness? Is that what you're
Boom.
trying to see?
That's what I'm.
Oh,
trying
money equates happiness.
to say. Two individuals.
I mean,
Majority.
You can't
so-
say
so
people who
we-
say money doesn't buy happiness don't live in a capitalism society. Capitalistic
money
society.
doesn't buy happiness.
It doesn't buy happiness, but it definitely puts you in a better position.
Yes,
it's a tool.
It'll put
money
you in a,
is a tool that
yes,
should be
it
respected.
Can. And so going back to the point of acceptance will bring internal happiness.
Acceptance will bring happiness.
And so like,
it's no matter if you got $20, $200, $2 million, because there's people with money who are unhappy as well.
Correct.
So
I've met those people.
I do agree with that. Like as far as money doesn't technically buy happiness. I will give you that.
If money did, then why are so many celebrities killing themselves?
How many celebrities are killing themselves?
It's quite a bit, enough to kind of like look into
It's
it.
enough to be like, damn. It's enough.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they'd be like, hold on.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's also a lifestyle that comes with it. You sometimes you distance yourself. You don't have real relationships, and that I think that's more on the individual. Like if you, I don't know, if you live this lifestyle, like, I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm doing pretty okay financially. Not gonna lie, but even if I had like $1 million, I don't think a lot of people would know because. Like, I'm not the kind of guy who just goes around, like, flaunting it like that. I'm not, like, a materialistic guy. I like having nice things. I bought, like, $300 lens. Probably might buy another $400. Might buy $4,000 computer. I don't know. But it is what it is. But at the same time, I'm not out here just, like, some people who are not, used to that element, they attach it to their character, I would say. They attach it to who they are. And I think that's where the unhappiness comes. It's just like, oh, now that I got money, I'm this nigga with money.
Sure.
It's just like, I'm still Mark. I'm still Marc Haize, whether I have money or not.
Marc Haize.
Marc Haize. Marc Haize, whatever. I'm so used to calling myself by my stage name. It doesn't even matter. But, like, I'm still Marc Haize no matter what happens, like whether I'm rich or poor. And I think that's where people don't take time to, like, for self-help and, like, finding themselves and, that's where you find unhappiness. Because it was times when I was broke and I was unhappy because I was broke. And then it was times I was broke and I was happy. So it was times I had money and I was unhappy. It was times I had, money, it just comes and goes. But like I said, it's a tool that should be respected. But I feel like people attach too much emotional gratitude towards it, And it's just like, you should be thankful and you should respect the dollar, but it shouldn't make you who you are.
Sure.
And I think that's the issue.
Or anything external.
Anything external, exactly. Like you shouldn't find value in your clothes or what you wear, and I mean that's redundant. Your clothes or how you live and what car you drive and
Who your friends are.
Where your house is. Like you should find value to. I mean, what do you give to the world? Like what are you doing? Like are you affecting people? Are you moving people? Are you creating something? Are you blessing people? Like. I think that's what you should pay more attention to. My boy Leline, he's out here. He raised him in this organization, Walk Good LA. They raised a bunch of money out in LA for Texas. They came down here and came and helping people individually with different grants and money, And like, I mean, he could have easily just kept some of it, But that's who makes him. That makes him who he is. He's a giving person. He has a good heart, and that's what's gonna make you happy in the ultimate. In the end, that like being a person of value in itself, not because at the end of the day, like even
value to who?
I mean, a value. I mean, to the people around you, really, because it's just like if you can help people, so you can give back, and
that means that we're putting our status and our thought process in the external. So again,
you're right on that one.
To the external.
I guess it means only just like where your heart is. I guess like where your heart is will determine your happiness. It's just like I always preach positive mindset. It's all about your mindset and being grateful for what you have. I mean, no matter how little you have or how much you have, just gratitude. You know, just coming from a mindset of gratitude is gonna move you forward, no matter where you are in life.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, I think that's a good one to end on.
all right, folks.
All right, folks.
March 30th
March 30th.
episode.
Y'all stay blessed. Thank you for tuning in.